What if, one night, in the middle of a violent storm, you heard someone knocking at your door, but every time you opened it, no one was there? This isn't just a horror story. This is the story of a man who ignored one desperate knock and spent the rest of his life hearing it again and again. And the most terrifying part? One night, the knock finally answered back. Stay with me, because this story will change the way you respond to every knock, forever. The storm began just after midnight. At first, it was only a whisper of wind brushing past the trees, a distant rumble of thunder rolling across the sky. But within minutes, the night turned violent. Heavy rain poured down, lightning flashed across the darkness, and the wind howled like something alive. Inside a quiet suburban house, Dr. Michael Carter lay awake. He stared at the bedroom door, his eyes wide, his body tense. Tap, tap, tap. His heart skipped a beat. There it is, he whispered. Beside him, his wife Emily shifted. Michael, please, go to sleep. No, he said, sitting upright. You don't hear it? Someone's at the door. Bang, bang, bang. The sound echoed through the house. Michael grabbed her arm. Did you hear that? Emily sighed, tired and frustrated. This had become their routine. Every storm, every night. I'll check, she said. She walked down the dark hallway, her footsteps slow, uncertain. Lightning flashed as she reached the front door and opened it. Nothing, just cold rain pouring into the night. She closed the door and returned. There's no one there, she said softly. But Michael shook his head. You didn't look properly, he was there. I know it. Weeks turned into months. The knocking never stopped. Doctors examined Michael. Tests were done. Medications were prescribed. But nothing worked. Stress, they said. Burnout. But this was more than that. Michael stopped going to work. His patients disappeared. His once respected career faded into silence. His health worsened. His blood pressure rose. He became restless, anxious, and distant. And every stormy night, the knocking returned. One night, the storm was worse than ever. The power went out. The house was swallowed in darkness. The wind slammed against the windows violently. Then, bang, bang, bang. Michael screamed. He's here again. Open the door. Emily rushed to him. Please calm down. No, he shouted. This time it's real. He's calling me, begging me. There was something different in his eyes. Fear and guilt. Emily's heart pounded. His condition was getting worse. She needed help. Emily suddenly remembered the new neighbor, a doctor who had recently moved in across the street. Without thinking twice, she ran outside into the storm. The rain soaked her instantly, the wind pushing her back with every step. She reached the house, memorized the number from the nameplate, and rushed back. With trembling hands, she dialed. Hello. Please, help my husband. He keeps hearing knocking. He thinks someone is outside. The voice on the other end replied calmly. I'm coming. A few minutes later, knock, knock. Emily froze. This time, it was real. She opened the door. A man stood there. I'm Dr. Daniel Reed. Inside, Daniel examined Michael and gave him medication. Slowly, Michael calmed down. For the first time in months, there was silence. No knocking. Daniel sat beside him. Michael, he said gently, has there ever been a moment in your past when someone knocked and you didn't answer? Michael's face changed. I remember. It was years ago, a stormy night. An old man came to my door. His voice trembled. He said his son was dying, begged me to come, but I refused. Tears filled his eyes. He kept knocking, but I told my guard to throw him out. Silence. I never opened the door. Daniel stood quietly. That knock never left you, he said. Michael whispered, I hear it every night. Daniel took a deep breath. There's something you should know. Michael looked at him weakly. That old man was my grandfather. The room froze. And the son he was trying to save, Daniel's voice tightened, was my father. Emily gasped. Michael turned pale. He died that night. Daniel continued. My grandfather struggled his whole life after that. He raised me, educated me, and before he died, he gave me one instruction. Michael stared at him. He told me to become a doctor, to move into this neighborhood, and to never ignore a knock. Daniel stepped closer. He said one day, The same doctor would need help. Michael's eyes filled with tears. And when that day comes, Daniel said softly, "Don't turn him away." Outside, the storm had stopped. The night was silent. No knocking. Not anymore. Daniel picked up his bag and walked toward the door. Before leaving, he said, "Some knocks aren't meant to be ignored. And some answers come too late." He stepped outside. Inside, Michael lay still. For the first time in years. The sound was gone. But the truth remained.